Hello guys, this is Ultimate Super Hyper Z, or as you should know me by now as Ulti Boy from my previous video. And today I want to talk about classes, in specifically Warrior. Why? Because I have decided to talk about each class, each individual class in a single video for its own. Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about Warrior. Okay, so Warrior. What should we learn about Warrior? It's basically, this class is basically all about dealing damage in general. However, it's not that tanky, and it's more importantly, it's good for in PvP support. Why PvP support? Because it got armor break, and armor break from warrior is from a skill that is an AoE, so you can basically hit multiple targets, dealing armor break for them, and that could help out your teammates. However, in general, it's decent at support because the armor break can affect any kind of mob in this game. So yeah, let's start. Now, what do we have? Skill 1 Severe. We have, as you can see, nothing very special about it other than that it is basically a semi AoE skill, and it can basically hit multiple targets, and also it deals 110% attack, and it can add to your fury, yes, or consume fury if your fury is at 100. But what is fury? It's basically like the mana of warrior. As you can see down there at your HUD, your health, and then under that is your fury, which is currently at 0. Now let's raise up our fury. As you can see, each skill of this class raises your fury by 25. So 4 skills will increase it into 100. However, of course, you gotta use a suitable combo for this. And now what is the next skill? The next skill is Crushing Blow, which also, it's basically, it's first of all, it's a single attack, it's a single target, and second of all, it is basically the same like all the other skills, where they can either add 25 to your fury, or consume it if it's at 100. But however, what happens when the fury is at 100? Now, every single skill, and when I'm talking about every single skill, I mean all warrior skills except the cross skill, can deal 50% more damage, but they will consume all the fury. Like if your fury is at 100 and you used any of the skills, it will be consumed all the way down to 0. Now, as you can see, Crushing Blow does 160% damage, and its cooldown is almost 7%, it's almost 7 seconds. And yes, can deal 50% damage if your fury is at 100, or might add 25 to your fury, and it's a single target. Now let's talk about the most important skill out of all these skills. Now, as you can see, Whirlwind here is full of surprises. Its attack is 90%. Whoa, it seems very weak. However, don't forget that it's the same skill that deals armor break and applies protection, which means that if you are fighting multiple enemies and you have, let's see, it will be capped I'm going to use whirlwind on these um, dummies right here, so to show you what kind of protection it deals. As you can see, it if the there are more than one enemy, if there are more than one enemy at and you're fighting and you suddenly used whirlwind, it will affect all of them, dealing armor break to all of them, and in the same time for each one you fight it will put a stack of protection on you, which means let's say you are fighting 10 enemies and you use this skill on these 10 enemies, you will be having at least, at the very least, 10 stacks of protection, and each stack of protection gives you 5% protection, or more than, or more like plus 5 protection. However, it's very very good at farming. That's why it's the best farming, it's the best early farming choice. If you are out of other choices, this is basically and practically a very good choice. And yeah, now what about Earthbreaker? Earthbreaker is basically like Crushing Blow, however it deals 300% more damage this time. Also, it can add 25 to your fury, or it can consume all of your fury if it's at 100, and will deal 50% more damage. And as you can see, if it can deal 300% damage, now this will be 350% more damage. However, our it's not yet filled. The meter, the momentum is not filled for the alt, so the alt is not ready, and I'm gonna make it ready right now. Okay, now our alt is refilled. Now let's just refill our fury to 100. Yup, as you can see. Now let's use it, and as you can see, it should have dealt 350% more damage, but as you can see, this is um, it this is very much versatile. Now as for the combos I use with warrior, I usually start with whirlwind, if because I usually like to farm with this skill, to with this class. So I usually use, let's say, now we have all of these four dummies. I usually use whirlwind first, and then as you can see I use skill 1 because I just hit this guy and this guy right here, and then if there is someone alive I just use skill 2, and by the time I use skill 2, skill 1 refills. So in my opinion the best combo to use is 3, 1, and 2. Yup, this is the best combo you can use. And right after that you can of course use the cross skill here, which will not do anything to your fury, but it's a very strong cross skill. And yeah, this is basically all you need to know about warrior. It's all about dealing damage, and as such it's all about um, farming. So it's basically an all-arounder. It has a decent support, it can deal armor break, and in the same time it can apply protection. However, it's only for you, and it can basically um, group up at damage, make a group up damage, like it can hit multiple targets, and even its cross skill is an AoE too. So yeah, you got basically 3 AoE skills in with this class, and this should say that this class is basically made for early farming, but I would say this class is just as good as other classes, and even end gamers use it in PvP or in regular gaming. However, this class is really useful in PvP. Why? Because you can apply the armor break on your opponents, and let's say there are your teammates are struggling with other opponents, you basically use whirlwind or skill 3 on the opponents, and it will of course um, end up dealing armor break to your opponents, making it easier for your teammates to fight them. And yeah, also it's good at dealing burst damage. As you can see, burst damage is really good for like sudden killing with its skill 2 and ult. It's basically just all about DPS supporting, and that's it actually. It's a decent all-arounder since it can also farm. So support, farming, and basically DPS. So DPS, support, and farm, it's almost an all-arounder. Why it is not a very good all-arounder? Because it cannot heal, unfortunately. Yes, you can use health potions. However, to be a soloer, or at least be like at the least tier of a soloer, you should have at least a passive or like a skill that you use for healing. However, this class doesn't have any healing at all other than health potions. But that doesn't mean you cannot solo with it. Yes, you can solo, and I mean, you can use your health potions a lot, but don't forget that there are other better options. And actually, there are like very good options right at the beginning, like healer. It's a decent soloer because it can heal itself and deal not decent damage at all. It doesn't deal good damage at all, but at least it deals damage. However, this is not for this video to talk about. We are here to talk about warrior. Warrior is basically good in groups, and really I think the best choice for even for end gamers when it comes to groups. So yeah, this is basically it about warrior. I have talked about the best combo to use, which is 3, 1, and 2. And then you can just basically spam the cross skill and the ult after that if they are available. And yeah, we have talked about the survivability of this class, which is not that good because it's got no healing. The DPS of this class is, I would say, it's an A tier. It's up there with Zerk and Samurai, but definitely not the best DPS dealer. And farming, it's a decent farmer. Yeah, so this class is basically an all-arounder, and it's the best choice to use in early game. However, in early game in order only for farming. However, there are better choices at the beginning of the game, like mage, which is ranged, and really farming is not that important in the game as of early. However, you will, with more questing and more jumping into story, you will realize that you will need to farm mobs, and your best choice will be, as you can see, warrior. And yeah, I would say it's a top 3 farming class. Now, I have finished with the video, guys. I will be making more class reviews with the other classes like this. And today we talked about warrior. Next time I will be talking about mage. So yeah, as usual, guys, please support me. I am still new at making videos, so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and definitely make comments about what you want me to do, because I'm doing this for you guys, really. So yeah, well, Ulti Boy out.